Beyler dostlar selamlar. Gogcom ücretsiz oyunu brokensword, Shadow of the Templars, The Director's Cut'a bir bakış atacağız. Sesi birazcık speech kalsın, onda problem yoktur. Şu müzikler çok şey oluyor, hemen kısalım. Geri gel. New game.
Paris, city of love, romance and dreams. So they say. I used to say it too. But ever since that day, the day of the murder, I've always associated my beloved Paris with death. I was at home having a bath when my editor called.
Collard, get your ass over to the Palais Royal now. You got an interview. With Pierre Carchon. Yes, the Pierre Carchon. No photos, so leave your gear at home. He asked for you personally. Don't ask me why. Anyhow, this could be big, so if he makes a pass, don't forget. Just smile, say yes, and keep taking notes.
So charming and so very apt. Pierre Carchon was a media king, a national hero, and one of the most infamous adulterers in Europe. He and his wife Imelda were just one step down from royalty. Whoa, I hate mimes, but unless you humor them, they don't go away. Here I was, the palace of the Media King and the Ice Queen. I pressed the doorbell and set in motion a chain of events which
Bu
would
herifte bir
change
pislik
my
var
life
bak. Bir
forever.
sırıtıyor.
Yes? What is it?
Madame, my name is Nico Collard. I'm here to see Monsieur Carchon.
Come up, we're on the first floor.
Madame Carchon, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I'm sure.
The Ice Queen was certainly living up to her reputation.
Elimini bile sıkmadın lan kadının. Ayıp be.
Will you be staying for the interview?
Mademoiselle, I know little of my husband's business affairs, and I care even less. I certainly have no intention of watching him pore over yet another pretty little journalist.
Pretty. You're too kind, madame.
Aa bak, silah da çıktı serseri.
The talented and very beautiful Mademoiselle Collard. Such a pleasure to meet you at last.
Monsieur Carchon, I am honored.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Call me Pierre, please. But I do not flatter you idly. I was a friend of your father. He was a great man.
My father, he never mentioned.
He and I were very close. And then his death. So tragic. I must... Imelda, your damned cat's in my study again. Another Ming vase, I suppose. Excuse me for one moment, my dear girl.
You journalists are getting younger each year.
Perhaps it's the rest of the world getting older, madame.
Aha da.
That was no cat.
God, what? Monsieur Carchon!
He's dead. I must call the police. You'd better stay here.
There was a man. It was the mime. Do you think he...
Well, I believe we can rule out suicide, don't you?
No wonder they called her the Ice Queen. She would have been top of my list of suspects if I hadn't seen the attacker myself. And if I hadn't come across a couple of murders just like this already. One of the most important men in Europe murdered. And here was I, Nico Coulard, alone at the scene of the crime. Should I wait for the cops? Or start my own investigation? It was a no-brainer.
Diyor polisi bekleyeyim mi yoksa ben mi başlayayım diyor araştırmaya. Biz başlayacağız tabii oğlum. O kadar dedektifteyiz yani. Ne diyor? Çok anlamadık. Geç. Tıklıyorum. Bu tarz oyunlarda bayağıdır görmemiştim.
Mimes and guns
Denememiştim
don't
ha.
usually go together, but I had an idea that this was no ordinary mime. I'd come across this murderer before and written about him. The costume killer. At least that's what I'd called him.
Şuna mı çökeceğiz? Al.
It was one of my hair clips. My favorite, in fact. It must have fallen when I was knocked down.
Çantaya bakacağız.
No.
Saç bunun değil o zaman. Oo bak şurada bir şey parlıyor. Tıkla bakalım şurayı.
The bookcase was filled with obscure first editions. It contained rows of titles I didn't recognize. Programming the Z80 by Rodney Zacks. Ah, the romance, the drama, the great classic novels had a lot to learn. It contained rows of titles I didn't recognize. It contained rows of titles I didn't recognize. It contained rows of titles I didn't
Tamam artık
recognize.
aynı şeyleri söylüyor. Şuna da bakalım. Her şeye bakabiliyoruz herhalde ha.
A bust of Pierre Cauchon, humble servant of La France. A bust of Pierre Cauchon. Pierre Cauchon again. His eyes seemed to follow me around the room. Pierre Cauchon again. His eyes seemed to follow me around the room.
Tamam. Aynı şeyi tekrarlayana kadar hep tıklıyorum. Belki bir şey der.
Pierre Cauchon again. His eyes seemed to follow me around the room.
Yine aynı
A
şey.
bust of Pierre Cauchon.
Tamam lan. Yeter artık. Hep Pierre Cauchon, Pierre Cauchon.
A small round piece of glass had been cut out of the pane. This was a professional job.
Profesyonel işliyor.
The killer must have used a ladder to reach the window. He was long gone. Guess he folded that ladder up, popped it in his pocket and took it with him.
Ama burayı kullanmıştır diye. Yani orayı kullandı.
I didn't want to cut myself and leave blood on the glass. Call me old-fashioned, but I like to keep my DNA to myself.
Tamam daha bakacak bir şey yok herhalde. Bakalım.
The police could turn up at any minute. Somewhere there were clues to the murder, and I needed to find them.
Şimdi şeyler vardır diyor. Mutlaka kanıtlar vardır cinayete dair. Az buçuk etrafa bakalım diyor. Hadi bakalım bak
A
bakalım.
Louis XIV table with an antique cloth. The murder had taste. But hey, with a husband that rich, taste is easy. I reckoned that cloth might just turn out to be useful.
Al al.
Even my fingernail wouldn't fit into such a small hole. Aha! Nico, you are just so damn good at this stuff.
Çok
Instead
çok
of comforting Imelda, I was ransacking her flat. Why? Because there was something going on here, and I had to get answers before the cops arrived. And hey, she'd been rude to me, so she had it coming. A key. Maybe a safe key.
Tamam. Anahtar. Ben nasıl çıkacağım? Heh, çık şimdi şuradan. Şuna da bir bakalım.
It was a tube of acrylic paint. French ultramarine. Just the color I was after for my bathroom.
I'm sorry, I have to go. Someone is...
Ağlama numarası
Young
yapma lan.
lady, what are you doing?
Oh, this paint. It's my favorite color.
For God's sake, keep the damn stuff.
The tube of paint from Imelda's easel. French ultramarine. Imelda had talent, but I certainly wasn't going to tell her that. The door was locked. A key. The door was locked. A key.
Tamam, şuraya gelelim. Bu anahtar açmadı nedense. Şu ablayla bir konuşalım. Ağlama numarası yapıyor. Çakal. Kesin bir bit yeniği var bu karıda.
Excuse me, madame.
Yes?
Why would a mime want to kill your husband?
Pierre had plenty of enemies. Half the husbands in Paris for a start.
Paris'in yarısı düşmanmış
How
kocası.
did your husband know my father?
I have no idea.
You didn't know him? Thierry Coulard.
Pierre knew a lot of people I didn't know, most of them women.
Adam da biraz şeymiş, çapkınmış. O büyük ihtimal o yüzden öldürdü. Bu kadına
I am
güvenmedim
so
bak.
sorry for your loss, madame.
No, you're not. You're a journalist. Journalists don't feel sorry.
Not true.
We shall see.
Why did your husband send for me? What did he want to discuss?
I have no idea. His business was his business.
He never told you anything.
No, and frankly, I preferred it that way. This is quite a scoop for you. I suppose you're already inventing the headlines.
Just because I am a journalist.
Don't patronize me. You're all cut from the same cloth. Do you have any moral sense at all?
Yes, that's why I do this job.
You do it to see your name in print.
As if my editor gets the byline, I just do the work.
Well, don't expect my sympathy.
The police will be here soon, madame. Is there anybody you would like me to contact? Family, friends?
No, I have no family. Pierre and I were... He was all I had, really. Not much, was it? The dutiful wife. That was my role. He never talked, never let me in.
I know one thing, madame.
What?
If you want to find out who killed your husband, then you let me do the job, not the police.
Why? How do I know I can trust you?
Hadi lan
Because you
şimdi
have
de.
no choice. The police will take weeks, in which time your own life may be in danger.
What?
Believe me, this killer has struck before, and he will strike again. Who is to know that you are not next on his list?
I don't know.
All I need is a few more minutes to look around before the police come.
You really do have a moral sense, don't you? I trust so few people, and I share your low opinion of the police. Here, take this. It's the key to the drawing room next to the library at the end of the hall. It was Pierre's room. I rarely went in there. I couldn't. I was too scared of what I might find.
Herhalde şu yan taraftaki odanın anahtarı
you.
ora.
I promise you won't regret this. There was no one I needed to phone. Not until I had solved this case. I thought of leaving, but was sure there was more to find.
Ha. Bir şeyler bulana kadar gitmem diyor. Aferin. Gel şu odaya da bir bakalım.
The door was locked. Now we were getting somewhere.
Gir bakalım. Ha, bizim Emmi'nin odası bura. Evet. Hoş bir oyun. Bayağıdır bu tarz oyun görmemiştim. Denememiştim. Bir cinayet işleniyor. Gördüğünüz gibi, anladığınız gibi. Biz de onu çözeceğiz. O maskeli, o surata boyalı herifi bulup cezasını vereceğiz herhalde. Ben kadının da payı olduğunu düşünüyorum bu işte. Bak diyor çok az diyor, düşmanı var mı diye sordu bizim abla. Kadın dedi ki Paris'in yarısı falan dedi, onun düşmanı. Çok insan tanıyor. Çoğu da kadın. Orada da bir kıskançlık sezdik zaten. Bir parmakları var. Evet. Gogcom'un ücretsiz oyunu. Bu ara gogcom da coştu Epic gibi. Sürekli beleş oyunlar veriyor. Linki koyacağım şeyin altına. Birkaç gün süresi var herhalde. Ben bu videoyu çekerken bir 70 saate yakın bir zaman gösteriyordu. Bir dahaki bedava oyunlarda, videolarda, oyunlarda görüşmek